Hi, my name is Britt Hedlund, and this is Module 10, helping students realize their learning norms. Um, I'm really lucky because this is what I get to do every single day at my job, thanks to some forward thinking leaders in our county and schools. My whole program is based on helping students realize their expectations and norms in school. So it all starts with relationships. Um, that's the basis of all education. And George Couros says innovation will never happen in education if we don't first focus on relationships. I like to show my students that I value them by really listening to them. I like to spend time with them and make my office a place where they can come and talk and just evaluate their learning and what's going on in life. I think it's really important to talk to students about non-school activities as well. And I like to show up for my students. I like to go to their events. It's easy for me because my own kids are really involved and active in school. So I get to be at a lot of activities and then not just show up, but come back to the school setting and talk to my students about how they did in the play or how they played basketball or what they did. Um, it really shows students that you care and that you value them. The next thing is relevance. I like to help students find relevance in their learning by giving them opportunities to job shadow. Our school uses a platform called Zello where we do career interest inventories. I bring in speakers to our high school twice a month. Through Zello, we set SMART goals, and then I think it's really important to help students learn to reflect on their goals and see where they are, see if they need to change them. We do student led conferences. So that's a few times a year that students at least get a few times where they spend time looking at their goals, and seeing if they're still relevant as well. Time. Students want to learn in their own timing and on their own time. This is a sweet picture of my eighth grade son, Ethan Gates, who could not give two hecks about school. He is currently taking his science class through our project based learning academy. And it is the only class that I can get him to talk to me about as far as content goes. He told me today when I asked him about PBL, he said, PBL lets me learn at my own pace. If I want to go slow, I go slow. If I want to go fast, I go fast. So deep thoughts by Ethan. But project-based learning I'll talk about later, but it's one way that students and that our students at our schools get to choose the timing and what time they work on their assignments and their learning. And timing is important to students as well. The timing of when they learn, what they learn is so important. And what I like to do is help students by giving them a multitude of opportunities and letting them choose what they want to take advantage of. I also let them choose when they want to take advantage. If a student wants to do job shadows on Saturday or days off of school, they can do after school, they can do during school, but they get to choose what they want to participate in and where they want to participate. So school choice is super important to kids. And again, PBL is a great place for that to happen. Play. I like to have fun with my students. I am a big kid myself. So everything I do, I try to make fun for students. When we hold events like Reality U or Future Maker Learning Lab, we give students time to be social and to hang out, and we make those events fun. I also make sure that workplaces not only are safe, but aren't too serious that they scare kids away, and that they're a place where mentors can be established, and they students have fun because they see relevance in their learning. Another thing I like students to think about is failure, because they have such a bad mindset usually about failure and look down upon it. But I would love to help students change that mindset and look at failure as a way to grow. Um, Thomas Edison said it best: I have not failed. I've just learned 10,000 ways that won't work. And I like students to realize that failure means that you're making things happen. You're learning, you're growing. Um, and so that's fun to do. Also, I think anytime you can involve food for students, they have fun. So anytime I can get pizza donated or candy for answering questions, whatever I can do to bring food into the equation, students seem to tie their learning to fun, and then it's something that they don't dread. Practice. I have so many ways in my program that students are able to practice what they've learned in the classroom and engage their skills. Also, when they practice, it gives them an opportunity to see if they need to learn new skills. So, I'm the work-based learning coordinator for our school, and work-based learning has a long definition, but basically, it's just a continuum of awareness. On careers that starts with bringing in guest speakers and career awareness. It grows to exploration and then preparation. At the exploration stage, they can job shadow. We do mock interviews. We do lots of field trips and career mentoring. And then the career preparation phase, we do internships. Kansas is currently working to start the youth registered apprenticeship program. They will have their first registered apprentice this year at the State Department office. But entrepreneurship, ownership, business, and then service learning is super important. So my kids get the opportunity to practice learning. I currently have 8 student interns starting this semester, and it's a great way to get kids out of the building in the real world, tying everything they've learned up to this point to what they want to do next. Choice. Students want to choose what they do, and they want to have choice in their learning, real choices. Kansas has implemented the individual plan of study, the IPS, which is both the actual product a student develops and the process the student implements to guide the student in developing their unique IPS. This is a collaborative effort. The student owns it for sure, but family is involved, school, counselors, work-based learning. So it's a collaborative effort to build an individual plan of study for each student in the high school level. We use, again, Zello to do the interest inventories and personality profiles. We like to have all students do college visits. By the time our students graduate from high school, they have visited a junior college, a tech school, and a 4-year college throughout their from 8th grade to their junior year. I'm also willing to take students on college visits if they want to, but the IPS is it's not just a requirement by the state, but it's so valuable to students and their ownership of their learning. Authenticity. Students like to know and that their work is authentic, and they want to know that others see their work. One awesome way to do this is to have students build electronic portfolios, e-portfolios, digital portfolios, whatever you want to call them. And we are starting that process at our school. All my interns have electronic work-based portfolios, but we're going to be working with all the senior class this year to help them build their own portfolio. Electronic portfolios are a great way to reflect on your learning and to constantly learn. And then, it's just really the thing that's happening in our world. I don't think we'll be handing over resumes much longer, that we'll just have electronic portfolios, digital portfolios. And students enjoy it because it's challenging, which we'll talk about next. And it, again, just it breeds ownership and ties into the IPS process. Challenge. I talked a little bit about PBL earlier, but when students come to me and they are like complaining, my class is easy, my class is boring, I like to challenge them to get into a PBL class and take ownership of their class and challenge themselves. I tell them that it's not always the teacher's job to challenge them, that they can do that as well. They can also take college classes. We have, the sky's the limit as far as online college learning goes. And I like students to explore careers and learning through online college classes. For instance, if a student is interested in business after high school and they want to learn more about that, I'll put them into an intro to business. a college class, online class, where they can learn more about that. We're really lucky in Kansas because all CTE college credit CTE classes for high school students are free. So getting kids in college classes is a great way for them to get some success early on the college setting. It's a good way for them to get education paid for and a good way for them to challenge themselves. All of this ties to the IPS. Application. For my program, we do internships and again, job shadows and all of that are applied to, but my favorite thing is the internships. And I said earlier, we have 8 interns starting right now, where our students sit down, and as with like the job shadow as well, we work on work skills, 21st century skills. We do an interview. We look at their digital portfolio and start building that out even more. Put examples of their learning into their portfolio, and then just let students use their skills in the real world. I have this student right here is interning at a doctor's office. She came to me when she was a sophomore and wanted to learn more about dental hygiene, so she job shadowed several hygienists. She started taking college classes, and then she is now starting her second semester as an intern with a local dentist. So, internships, work based learning are an awesome way to apply their learning to the real world. Also, I like to encourage students to get involved in CTE programs, especially students who think they might not want to go to college, but I tell kids you have to have some kind of skills. So the CTE programs such as welding, mechanics, depending on where you're located, people in the city can do this much easier than I can, but programs like that allow kids out of the classroom, out of the building, and into hands-on learning that is really applicable to them and their IPS as well. And then PBL does a great job of showing application to learning. Um, let's see, did I mess up? No. Okay, so standard correlation, the assignment correlates to the standard because 2.1, because understanding these norms in depth helps leaders understand students and their expectations better, which will lead to student ownership and student success. It's really relevant to me for many reasons. First, because it just lines up with the vision of KSDE right now, to help every child build an IPS. And the IPS would meet every single one of those norms. Also, it's relevant to me because this knowledge just brings even more meaning to the and value to the program that I currently work in. Reflection. This assignment has made me reflect on how important these student norms are. In order to be an effective school leader, students and their expectations have to be valued. I plan to remember this, and I also think it's important to help staff know these norms and understand them as well. There are my resources. Thank you for listening.